I'm Sammaya. You're watching African Diaspora News Channel, and today we're going to be talking about marriage in the Black community. Happy spouse, happy house. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes the baby in the baby carriage. We've all heard these quotes about being married. The thing is, marriage used to be a particularly special occasion. It still is. But according to the way a lot of people wait to get married, it just seems like the marriage rate has declined a little bit. In 2018, 20% of young adults aged 18 to 34 were married, which is a decrease in 30% when compared to 59% of young adults within the same age range being married in the 70s. So back in the 70s, we go back a few years, it seems like a lot of younger people were ready to get married when compared to today, a lot of younger people are not looking to get married at all. And let's talk about a little bit why that is. First of all, it seems like in this day and age, in this generation, Black people definitely have a fear of failure. So when you're stepping into that marriage, you're stepping into that relationship, one of the main things on your mind is going to be, oh my God, I hope I don't mess this up. So when we talk about failure, we think back to somebody's family origin and the way they were raised and the way you were grown up. Maybe you can think back to, oh, I'm so scared. I don't want what happened to my parents to happen to me. I don't know what happened to my aunts or my uncles, my grandparents. They're not married, or maybe they did stay married, but it wasn't a happy marriage. Despite the fact that Black people have this fear of failure because of the way that they were brought up and possibly bringing childhood trauma into the marriage, growing up with a certain belief that they were built up with. Despite all of this, it's very, very true that Black people are still marrying Black people. You know, that's what we really need to focus on here. With all this controversy, there's only a 12% divorce rate within the Black community, which is only 1% higher than the rest of America. And there's also, it's kind of sad to me that 50% of Black Americans are unmarried, but we're also looking at the fact that a lot of Black people have that fear of failure and the lack of not really knowing what it takes to be in that sort of relationship. So that's why they hold off on marrying, or maybe they may feel like the opportunity is not for them. Maybe some people don't want to marry at all. But within all of this, it is very true. In America, it shows that 29% of the Black community is actually married. So let's look at this. 93% of Black women are married to Black men, and 85% of Black men are married to Black women. So where are we getting the misconception that Black people are not marrying each other? Because it's very clear that we are. Black people are marrying Black people. Black women love their Black men, and Black men equally love their Black women. So that brings us together as a community, and we're able to unite. And Black marriage is something that we all need to work on. Even if you feel like you're not ready for marriage, maybe you feel like you don't want to get married, you really need to work on finding that life partner and somebody that can help you grow your own family and help ultimately grow the community and just be better and productive as a society and as a whole. I just want to point out that Black women kind of feel that their odds are a little bit tougher, because it shows that 35% of the college population is Black Americans. And when you have 1/3 of Black men incarcerated or in the judicial system, it's very hard to find that stability within a partner. So a lot of Black women feel like it's harder for them, but they still don't give up. They still go out there. They still find a man, because it's very, very possible. And I really believe it's necessary that Black women and Black men, we seek each other, we look for each other, and we stand together, because that's what's going to build our community overall. No matter what anybody says about interracial marriage and all of that, Black people are still marrying Black people. Marriage is not something that, you know, your family should necessarily be involved in, but at the same time, it's very important thinking about your family origin and the things that you learned growing up. So we take that from what we knew as we were younger, we take that into our relationship. So you don't need your family to be a part of the relationship, but it's very, very evident that what we learn from our families is what we grow into and what we become. Me personally, my parents were married when they had me. So personally, I wouldn't imagine leaving the hospital with a child and not leaving with my husband. That's something for me that's just not acceptable. I would never accept that. My parents were married when they had me. So to me, that's that's a core value to me. That's my family origin. So I will not get pregnant until I am married. I will not get married until I find the correct partner. And that's something that a lot of women really need to work on and stick with, because there's the baby daddy, baby mama rate is very high. The reason that is maybe because a lot of people have so high standards. They have these high standards and they built them up, and then, next thing you know, you're settling because you had this unrealistic expectation of what you expect out of somebody or something, and you settle, and that's how you end up in this position to where now I'm alone, now I'm a single parent, or however the situation may be. The lack of being a decent partner due to how you grew up and the skills that we need to maintain a healthy relationship, that's something that was not really taught within the Black community. So I had a chance to talk with this married couple. They'd been married for 12 years. And after 10 years of their marriage, they made the decision to go from monogamy to polyamorous relationship. When I talked to this couple, it was very interesting to me that they were able to make that decision together. In a community where infidelity is very, very common and financial stability is something that everybody looks for, this couple was able, despite the husband's family origin, because that's very important. He grew up in a family where the men cheated. He grew up in a family where he knew, okay, this is what I know. The men in this family, they cheat on their wives. So him knowing that, he had sort of a roadmap or a plan of what he didn't want to do, which made it able to change that. So a lot of people, they have the lack of representation, but that lack of representation can also be your motivation to say, I know what I'm gonna do, and stick with that. So this couple here, they've been together for all these years, and they made this decision to move into a polyamorous relationship. That decision, to me, it just shows that's real marriage. You make the decision to be together and you follow through with it no matter what. You don't leave each other, even though it's a challenging decision. Just the fact that they stay together, that's very important. They knew that they weren't going to leave each other, and this man knew that within his family origin, that's what his family origin was, and he knew that he did not want to be like that. Healthy marriages grow healthy families. Healthy families grow healthy communities, and that's really what we need within the Black community. So when we're talking about marriage in the Black community, we need to just point out the fact that there is not a roadmap. There's a lack of direction on what we should be doing and what it takes to actually maintain a healthy relationship. When it comes to that, that's what we need to really look at as a community. In this generation, a lot of young adults do not want to get married. And that's simply because of the fact that what representation do we have? The representation we have is little to none. Despite the fact that Black people are marrying Black people, you don't see that in the media. And if you do see it in the media, it's this kind of image that's conveyed as you have to be a certain way, or you have to act a certain way, you have to look a certain way. These are the things that we are learning. So when it comes to wanting to make that decision for ourselves as young adults, it's very, very hard to commit. It's very hard to sit down and say, I'm going to make this decision. I know what it takes, because we don't have that guidance. We don't have that direction. So that's partially why 50% of the Black community is unmarried. We really need to work on that as a community, stepping it up and representing ourselves as people who do want to marry, someone that can be in a marriage. Maybe just look a little bit deeper into what it takes to successfully maintain a marriage, because it's a lot more than just being with someone you're attracted to. You have to be with someone you like. You have to be with someone you can grow with. You have to be with someone you can trust. And I'm not saying just build up this list of expectations that someone may never amount to, but you have to know what you want. You have to know what you accept. You have to know what you're capable of giving. And a lot of people don't know that simply because of the fact that we were not taught. We don't have a roadmap. There's a lack of representation. I'm Sammaya. You've been watching African Diaspora News Channel. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you support us by becoming a YouTube channel member. Join us on Patreon, and we also have Cash App. All of the links will be down below in the pinned comment.